If your family history feels stuck or worse, like it's turning into a list of facts, it might not be your research that's the problem. It might be decisions you haven't made yet. In my last video, one question changed how I approached my writing. But for you, the question that helps you take the next right step will be different. So today, I'm going to show you the decisions you need to make to guide you as you write a non-boring family history. Now, I highly recommend you determine your vision after you have processed your genealogy research and written a rough draft. However, some folks like to work in a different order, so let's dive into your vision. Visualization is a popular technique for athletes or ambitious workers. What do you picture achieving your goal to look like so you can reverse engineer a path to get there? So it's time to dream a little. Don't just think, I want a finished book. Picture this. Who will read your book? What kind of book? Large, small, text heavy, picture heavy, or a blend, or something else entirely? What kind of book do you want to publish? Or do you not want to publish a book and you want to create something else entirely? I'll link to videos in the description box to help you make these decisions. The other thing you need to ask is, what experience do you want them to have? And since AI is rolling out photo generation tools, let's have some fun. Let's ask AI to generate a vision of your dream. I'll opt for a cartoon option so that I don't have to make it too realistic. Here's my vision. A 5-year-old boy with brown hair and green eyes and a 10-year-old girl with blonde hair and brown eyes, curled up on a couch, listening to their grandma read a picture book detailing the life of their ancestors. Now that you can picture what you want your project to look like and feel like at the end, let's tackle the decisions you need to make so that this dream becomes a reality. There are 3 layers of decisions that you need to make to shape a non-boring family history. You need to stop thinking like a genealogist. I know, that's hard. Instead, we need to think like storytellers. To do that, you need to make decisions in 3 layers. Let's say your vision is to have a book. Next, you need to define the parameters of that book. This is the container your story lives in. The first is, what's the focus of the chapter? Do you want something generational, biographical, something like survival and resilience, or something else entirely? Next, you need to figure out the chapter structure. Do you want a chronological presentation? Do you want summaries with research analysis? Or do you want a narrative storytelling arc? After that, you can start thinking about, how do you begin your chapter? Do you want to have a hook? Do you want to have leading quotes? Do you want to start with zoom in scene setting? Or do you want fact first approaches? There are other decisions that you can make, including chapter length. With some of these decisions, you can be flexible. Let's say you want to mix chapter lengths depending on what part of the story you are in. For William, his early life and end of life chapters are short, but his war service, they'll be a bit longer. And it's okay to mix up chapter hooks. You can set scenes in some chapters and be fact first in others. The one thing I wouldn't mix is quote leads in some chapters and not others. I've read a book that did this, and I got distracted by the chapters that didn't have a quote lead. I kept trying to find what I was missing. That's not an experience I recommend for your readers. Now, when I wrote for newspapers and magazines, we had a style guide to follow, as many other publications do. So now it's time to get really nerdy. Now, while you'll never hear a reader say, "I'm so grateful for your citation style," it will set your book up for a more polished look. So, in this later, it's about how your story looks and feels on the page. So, now we need to think like a publisher and decide citation styles, how we're going to use images, whether we're using sidebars and commentary, and just the overall layout decisions. When you make your decisions, you can make a style guide file to keep with your draft files. In it, put your choices. So, for instance, maybe you like the Strathclyde citation style. You will use images like documents, photos, maps, newspapers, clippings, and so forth. In the caption, you are going to use informative explanatory text and not just citation text. And then you're going to superscript a footnote to that citation for your images. You're going to wrap body text around the images rather than have an image take up a whole page. You will use sidebars, and you're going to use it for explanation and extra context. They will be vertical, have a halftone shade, and you'll use serif fonts to separate it from the sans serif font in your body text. And then finally, you're going to do some style choices, and you can see their chapter headings, subheadings, body text, caption text, and sidebar text, just to name a few. For these decisions, you have to know who you're writing for. Children like larger font sizes and larger line spacing. Adults often appreciate smaller font sizes so a book isn't too lengthy by page count. If you need help making these decisions, take a stroll through your library and look for books that fit the size and feel you want your book to have. Then you can use a tool like What's the Font to figure out what font is used in the books you prefer. I just want to remind you that these decisions affect readability more than most people realize. So take some time to decide now so you don't have to format it all again at the end. But if you do skip this step until the formatting phase, no worries. You can do it before you go to publish. The final layer is the story guardrails. This is what keeps your story consistent and believable. It also helps you not go on tangents, and also it helps you land the plane, so to speak. For these, it really helps to have a draft written, as you'll want to know where to drive the final edits. You're turning on your storyteller's hat once again, and you'll make a few final decisions that are based on your framework. So, do you want to have a story arc? And if so, what is it? How do you want to present your story? Do you like to include flashbacks, starting in the middle of things, or the traditional once upon a time? Do you want to include themes into your story? If so, what are they? What tone do you want your story to have? Conversational, documentary, or a detailed biographical and academic analysis? After you choose your tone, you will then want to choose the voice, and the voice is who is the narrator. Is it I? Is it he? Or is it an all-knowing narrator who follows people around? And along with voice, can the author break the fourth wall? Are they telling a story and occasionally then talk to you, the audience, and then get back into the storytelling? That's breaking the fourth wall, and you need to decide if you want to do that or not. And a final decision is whether you want to use dialogue, and if so, what form of dialogue are you going to use? Many of these topics have been covered on this channel, and I'll leave a few links in the description box for you. But notice, once you have an idea of your guardrails, you're set to polish up your draft like a pro. When you ask a friend or family member to read your work, if you have these in place, they'll have an immersive, consistent experience. And that's what we're after. Now, what if you have this list of decisions, but you have analysis paralysis and you can't decide what would work best on your project? Get help from AI tools. Here are a few prompts that you can ask your favorite AI model to help you think through your decisions. Use this one when you don't know how to organize your story. Use this one when you don't know how the book should feel. Use this one when you're unsure how to tell the story consistently. Now, these will be available on my blog so that you can print out or copy and paste for your own use. Have a conversation with your AI model. Try a different models and see how they compare and if you get different insights to help you decide. But at some point, you have to make a decision. And remember, you don't have to write a flawless book. A perfectly written book inside your head is no help to anyone. A slightly flawed book that is in the hands of those folks you pictured at the beginning of this is worth its weight in gold. In the coming weeks, I'll be sharing with you where I'm at in editing my draft of William Townsend's story. I'll show you some of my decisions and where I get stuck. In the end, you'll write over my shoulder, similar to research over the shoulder videos I've done on my main channel. I would love it if you would offer some suggestions on how I can improve the story, but really, I'm here to answer questions that you have on how to write your stories. In the end, I want you to walk away thinking, if she can do it, I can do it too. Until next time, you can write your family history. You just have to get started.